All right, so lying down on your backs, having some wall space that you can come to a little bit later on in our practice is ideal. And then lying down on your back in a way that you can fully extend your arms up and overhead eventually, not just yet, but we'll take a few minutes to lay back. Stretch out through the legs if you can, if that's comfortable. And just rest your arms down alongside the body, or you could take a hand to the belly and a hand to the rib cage. And just start to breathe evenly in and out through the nose. Shrug your shoulders down your back, slightly tilt your chin into your chest. Maybe close your eyes here for a few moments as you start to settle in. Okay, and then take about 3 to 5 deep breaths here just to scan the body. Notice how you're feeling today. Notice what you're feeling, where you're feeling it as usual. Nice deep belly breath. See if you can get your breath moving into your rib cage so that when you breathe in, you feel your rib cage expand from side to side. And even more breath into the belly. And then exhale, everything softens back into the back body. Let's try that twice more. Deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. Again, deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. Now reach the arms up and overhead, stretch through the fingertips and down through the toes so that the low back and the rib cage, back of the rib cage lifts off the mat, but you're still pressing down through your heel bones. You're still pressing down into your tailbone. And then exhale, let's hug the knees into the chest. You can use your hands to wrap around your shins. You could also wrap for opposite forearms or opposite elbows and just sway a little bit side to side. And then let's rock up and back a few times, massaging the length of the spine. If that feels good on your spine, if it doesn't, just skip that altogether. You can roll off to a side and take fetal position. One more time, forward and backward. And then come up to tabletop. So wrists will stack underneath shoulders, knees will stack underneath hips. We'll get a little bit of mobility into the wrists today because we'll be doing some plank variations and weight bearing on the hands to prepare for some handstand practice. All right, so pressing down into all the knuckle mounds, look at your hands, see if you can get your knuckles, so not your fingertips, but your knuckles actually pressing into the mat, and also your fingertips too, but I want you to focus the weight forward into the knuckles. And then start to shift the weight forward and backward, so you're rolling the weight forward into the knuckles, and then back to the heels of the hands, forward into the knuckles, back to the heels of the hands, just shifting the weight forward and backward in the hands a few more times. Good. And then let's rotate the fingertips back towards the knees, fingertips back towards the knees. And they don't have to go point all the way backwards. It's just going to depend on the range of motion in your shoulders. And again, that rocking motion. So forward to the heels of the wrist and to the knuckle mounds of the hands. Rocking forward and backward a few times. It's okay if the heels lift off the mat. And one more time, forward, backward. And then let's sit back on the heels for a little bit, lift up the wrists and the hands and just circle out, shake out the hands. We'll do one more little wrist exercise and then we'll get flowing. Okay, so this time the top of the hand is going to be on the mat. So your palm is going to face your armpit. Okay, so again, I'll say it. The top of the hand on the mat, the palm of the hand is facing the armpit or the ceiling. Fingertips are pointing towards your knees. And again, feel free to add that rocking motion forward and backward. Even if the whole hand doesn't get flush to the floor, that's okay. You're just working on your range of motion in your wrists. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Your arms don't have to get straight here. It's okay if you bend the elbows. One more time, forward, backward. And then let's take a seat back on those heels again. Shake out the wrists, roll out the wrists, shake, shake, shake. Give them a little roll. Good. And then let's come forward, hands and knees. We'll extend the right leg back. Extend the right leg back so you're still on your left knee. Float that right foot off the mat. We're just going to take this right foot side to side. So right foot towards the left side. Inhale, right heel bone up towards the ceiling and rotate it towards the right side. So you're just moving that right leg side to side. And my foot's coming all the way off the mat as I find this rotation with the right leg. What I'm focusing on here is using my glute and my hamstring and my right leg to find this rotation. So I'm trying to keep my hips and my shoulders squared forward and down as if I were in plank, just moving that right leg side to side. Firing up glutes, firing up hamstring. One more time, tap side to side. And then right knee back into its place. Left leg extend it back. Float that left foot off the mat. Keep those toes flexed down. So left heel is, it's like it's reaching for the ceiling without that foot having to lift higher than the hip. You want to keep it hip height. And then let's sway those left toes to the right side of your mat. Give it a little tap. Sway those left toes to the left side of your mat. Give it a little tap. And then start to move it side to side. And can you feel hamstring and glute on the left side creating the action of the left leg moving side to side? Okay, a couple more times here. Feel the glute, feel the hamstring. Feel it get nice and fiery, nice and warm. One more side, one more time. Each side, tap, and then left knee back into its place. Now walk the hands a whole hand print forward, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Relax your head between your biceps. Go ahead, give me a shake out through the head. So a little nod, no. A little shake, yes. And then notice what's happened to the weight in the hands. Has it moved all the way back to the heel of the hand? Can you get it forward into the knuckle mounds and then a little grip on those fingertips? Deep breath in here. Deep breath out. Now I want you to imagine you're clawing your fingertips into the mat, and that's what's going to pull you forward, pull your body forward into high plank. And we'll do this a few times. We'll pull forward into high plank. We'll press into the hands and lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, pull forward, high plank. Exhale, press the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Twice more. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, press back. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, press back. Relax your paws in your downward facing dog. Bend your right knee a lot. Press down through your left heel. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Switch sides, bending deeply into your left knee. Press down through your right heel bone. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Straighten out through both legs. Inhale, sweep the right leg up and back. Exhale, right foot, step it forward. So right foot stepping forward, top of the mat, left knee to the mat. Walk your right foot wide, both hands inside of your right foot, so you're in a low lunge. And then rotate that right arm up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in here. Tuck those left toes under, lift that left knee. So you're still in your lunge, you're just adding a little bit of height. Big breath in here. And then exhale, right hand back to the top of the mat, left knee down. Shift those hips back so you're in a half split. Right heel forward, pressing into the mat. Deep breath in here. Exhale, fold a little bit more over that right thigh. Crawl your hands forward, rebend into that right knee. We're just going to step back to high plank, and then step that left foot forward, right knee down to the mat, pressing into your right hand, and rotate that left arm up towards the ceiling. So keep that rotation of the spine as you tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. So you're still in your twisted lunge, you're just adding a little height. Deep breath in here. And then exhale, left palm down, right knee down. Shift the hips back, extend through that left leg, press down into your left heel. Big breath in here. And then exhale, fold over that left thigh just a little bit more. Relax your head. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, crawl your way forward, stepping back to high plank. Pause in your high plank, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your hamstrings, squeeze your inner thighs. Shift forward onto the toes, lower all the way to the belly. Extend your arms forward, thumbs pointing up towards the mirror. Stretch back through the toes. Take a deep breath in, lift the limbs. So you're lifting the arms, you're lifting the legs, you're balancing the body weight on the pelvis and the lower rib cage. See if you can get a little bit higher through the limbs. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out, hands walk underneath the rib cage. Tuck your toes. Take a deep breath in, prepare to press up to high plank. And from high plank, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more breath here. So we'll take that flow and we'll add on to it. Inhale, right leg is going to lift up and back. Exhale, right foot forward, left knee to the mat. Right arm's reaching up towards the ceiling. Find that twist again. And then tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Deep breath in here. Breath out, right hand down to the mat, inside of your front foot, left knee down. Shift the hips back, half split. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Crawl your hands forward, rebend into your right knee. Crawl your hands forward even more. So your hands are forward of your right foot. Tuck your back toes. Float your left leg up and back. Standing split at the top of your mat. Relax your head, belly towards that right thigh. Point those left toes up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out. From our standing split, we're coming back into our lunge. So that left leg's going to reach back, back, back towards the back of the mat. Bend your right knee, low lunge. Step back, high plank. High plank. Shift forward onto those toes, lower to the belly. Extend your arms forward. Y V shape with the arms, thumbs pointing up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, everything lifts. Limbs, rib cage, toes, kneecaps, thighs, everything's lifting off the mat. Deep breath in here. Exhale, hands underneath the rib cage, tuck the toes, rest the forehead for a moment. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press up to high plank. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. We're going to pause here for 3 breaths. 3 breaths in your downward facing dog. Relax your head. Get heavy through your heels. Weights forward in the knuckles and the fingertips of the hands. Keep reminding yourself of that. Inhale, left leg lifts up and back. Exhale, left foot steps forward. Right knee to the mat just for your setup. Okay, right hand's pressing down, left arm reaches high. Find that twist, that rotation through the spine. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Big breath in here. Big breath out. Left hand, replace it at the top of the mat, inside of your left foot. Right knee comes back to the mat, shift the hips back, half split. I want you to think about pressing down through that left heel. It's like you're trying to drag your left heel forward. Deep breath in. Stay for your exhale. Let's crawl those hands forward, rebend that left knee. Hands keep crawling forward of the left foot. All the weight on that left foot as you lift the right knee. And then float the right foot up towards the ceiling. Point the right toes. Standing split. So belly, you're hinging forward from the hips. Belly's trying to work towards that left thigh. You can relax your head here for a moment. I like to balance on my fingertips. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now remember, we're coming back to our lunge. So this right foot's gonna reach back towards the back of the mat, soft landing in our lunge. Plant those palms. Step back to high plank. Shift forward, lower to the belly. That ISO Superman hold, arms stretch forward, thumbs point up. Deep breath in, everything lifts. Palms underneath the rib cage as you lower, tuck the toes, rest the forehead. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, press up, high plank. Hips rise, downward facing dog. Now, if you need a little break from down dog, feel free to pause, center, and ground yourself in child's pose. Knees to the mat, hips back to the heels. Child's pose is always welcome. Wherever you are, let's take 2 more breaths. One more time through our little flow with one addition. Inhale, right leg's gonna lift up and back. Right foot steps forward. We're right into our lunge. We're gonna leave that left knee up and lifted. Right arm's gonna reach up. So find that rotation through the spine in your lunge. And then exhale, right hand down. Keep that left knee lifted. Press that right leg straight. So you're in pyramid pose with 2 straight legs, pressing the right knee back so it's towards straight. You're hinging forward over that right leg, just like you did in your half split. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out. Now we're going to rebend into that right knee, crawl the hands forward, coming into our standing split. Left leg floats up and back. Point those left toes. Even if they're not facing the ceiling or anywhere close, that's okay. Still point the toes. Big breath in. Big breath out. Reach back with that left foot, low lunge. Okay, so listen for the change. You're in a low lunge, your right foot is forward, your left leg is back. All right, we're coming into a side plank. Left hand is gonna be the base. Right foot can heel toe to the center of the mat. You can roll to the pinky toe edge of that back foot, and you can stay here in the supported side plank. You can also swing your right leg back to stack on top of your left leg. Reach that right arm high. Big breath in. Big breath out. Come into high plank. Shift forward onto those toes, lower to the belly. Stretch those arms forward. That Superman ISO hold is next. You're inhaling to lift the limbs and stretching the arms and stretching the toes back. You're exhaling to place the hands underneath the rib cage, tucking the toes, forehead to the mat. Deep breath in. On your exhale, pressing up and back. High plank to down dog or child's pose. 3 breaths. 3 breaths here. Second side, last time through our flow. If you're ready to come along with me, the left leg sweeping up and back. On the exhale, the left foot stepping forward, top of the mat. We're coming right into that rotational lunge. Left arm is lifting, right kneecap is staying active and engaged away from the floor. Taking a deep breath in here. And then left hand comes to the top of the mat. You're framing out your left foot, pressing that left leg straight. You might hop your right foot forward a little bit, so you have a more short stance between the legs. Either way, both legs are straight. You're hinging forward over that left thigh. Relax your head here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let's rebend into that left knee, crawling the hands forward, shifting the weight into the left foot. Stretching the right toes towards the ceiling. Find your standing split. Whatever it looks like, it's okay. Really just focusing more on feeling that stretch sensation along the back of the left leg. You're doing it right. It's okay. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Let's come back to our lunge. So stretching back through that right foot, soft landing at the back of the mat. Okay. This is our addition here. We're posting up into this right palm. This is going to be our base for our side plank. So either heel toe that left foot to the center of the mat, rolling onto the pinky toe edge of the right foot, Extending the left arm high, okay, for your supported side plank, or left leg stacks on top of right. Deep breath in, press the floor away, squeeze those glutes, squeeze those hips forward, and then exhale, high plank. So both hands plant, hips and shoulders rotate towards the mat. Shift forward onto those toes. One more time through that iso hold. Extending the arms forward, thumbs pointing up towards the ceiling. Stretch back through those toes, reach forward through those fingertips, lift everything off the mat. Hold for one more breath in. And then exhale, palms underneath the rib cage. This time, let's just press up and back. Child's pose, child's pose. Just get grounded here for a few moments. Catch your breath. Nice and slow. Slow the breath down. We're just going to take a couple of minutes to practice handstand variations. And this does not mean that I want you to get into handstand, especially if you don't feel comfortable with the handstand practice. What I want you to do is practice the foundation. So where is the weight distributed in the hands? What is the alignment of the body? And when I say the body, what I want you to focus on right now is the stack of the hips, the shoulders, and the wrists. Okay, so we're trying to make one line with that, even if it means we're in a pike position at the wall. So I'm going to scoot the short edge of my mat up against the wall. I'm going to use the back of my door for this handstand practice. And the first thing I'm going to do is turn around and take a seat at the wall, stretching my legs forward into the center of the room. So my hip bones are in contact with the wall. I'm stretching my legs forward. And this is the distance I'm measuring. So this is where I'm going to place my hands at the bottom of my heels. Okay, so I can eyeball that, or I can measure it out with a prop, like I can set just a blanket right here. So I know about where to place my hands, right next to that blanket. It's not an exact science, but it gives you a ballpark. I'd prefer a wider stance with your hands, so make sure they're not too narrow. You want them outer shoulder width distance apart. I really want you to think about engaging the back muscles, the core muscles, the shoulder muscles. The whole upper body is working here. Okay, so I'm placing my hands here where I've marked where my feet ended, and then I'm coming into a very, very short downward facing dog. Remember all that work we did to get the awareness into the hands forward into the knuckle mounds and the fingertips. I'm going to take my dominant leg foot, which is my right foot, lift it and press it into the wall behind me, right behind my glute. So right foot, right behind my glute. And then as I'm pressing my foot into the wall, I'm shifting the weight forward into my hands. And then I'm bringing my left foot up again, right behind my glute. So I'm kind of in this pike position, but I have both my knees bent. And then I'm going to play with straightening out through my legs. Okay, so maybe you watched that first set. Great. If so, maybe try it again with me the second time. If you walked with it through me again the second time and you were a little confused, maybe watch the second time. All right. So again, I'm measuring out, the reason I'm measuring out the distance for my hands to place my hands is because that's how I get that vertical stack of my shoulders right over my wrist, my hips in a pike position, because that's the length of my legs. All right, so again, I'm placing my hands outer shoulder width distance apart from me. My pinkies are on the outside edges of my mats. Okay. That's where I'm placing my hands. I lift my dominant leg foot up, pressing it into the wall, just the ball mound of the foot. So I have a really deep bend in that right knee. And as I press weight into that foot, I shift weight forward into my hands, my knuckles, my fingertips, and then I add my left leg. Okay, so both feet are at the wall. Maybe the knees stay bent a lot, and you're just practicing shifting the weight forward into the hands. Or maybe you're pressing those feet straight, and it's probably going to feel really weird, like you're going to topple forward over your hands. But that is the stack. That is the vertical stack that you're looking for. If you're still there at the wall and still practicing shifting the weight forward in the knuckle mounds, great. Give yourself another breath. And then when you're ready to come out, we're all going to take child's pose. Okay, so taking child's pose. We're going to slow that breath down, take child's pose. Now, if you need to give your shoulders a little break from all that extension, maybe take the feet a little bit wider and stretch the hands back towards the feet. You can wrap your hands around your heel bones. Rest your forehead on a prop or the mat. Just let that spine lengthen out. Big breath in. Big breath out. That also works on a chair. I didn't walk us through it, but like I said, having a chair up against the wall is helpful in terms of height to get your feet a little bit higher than you might if you're just using the wall. So ideally the feet are in line with hips, but sometimes it feels really scary to get that stack. It feels like you're going to fall forward. So I like a chair as a progression, a progressive step. You just want to make sure it's stable against the wall so that, you're not feeling like the chair is going to fall over on you. So let's turn around on our backs. We'll do a little bit of twisting and I will leave you in Shavasana. Okay, so turn around on your back, lay down, bend your knees, start to sway your feet side to side. I like to keep my feet wide as I sway my knees side to side. You can experiment with that in your own body. And then we'll come into a twist, knees off to the left. You're rolling all the way onto your left hip, right leg stacking on top. Let's take 3 breaths here. Whatever variation of your twist you like. Sometimes figure 4 twist feels good, or twisted root. Sometimes extending that top leg long. One more breath, whatever you're doing. Good, and let's unwind, come back through center, pick up your hips so they're back in line with your shoulders, and then rotate the knees off to the right, left hip stacking on top. Whatever you did on the first side, try to mirror that on the second side, even if it means you need to add some props. Taking 3 breaths to settle in, find stillness. Let's unwind. We'll lengthen out. Okay, you can either take your legs up the wall, and that's actually what I'm going to do today since we're already at the wall. Feel free to take advantage of that. Settling into your final Shavasana. Maybe you set a timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. I promise to end our class at 5 after the half hour. So 12:35, those of you joining me live. Relax your shoulders down your back, slightly tilt your chin into your chest. Deep breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Twice more like that. Deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. One more time. A gentle seal of the lips, eyes closing down. Whole front body softens into whole back body. Shavasana. Please, please, please stay longer in your Shavasana if you can. Even just a couple of minutes does a world of good. If you need to move on with your day, just gently awakening the body, maybe rolling off to a side and briefly coming to an upright seat. If you'd like to, you could place your hands somewhere on the body. Taking a deep breath in, growing tall through the spine. Exhaling, bowing the chin into the chest. Welcoming in the new year with new breath, new life, new intention. Acknowledging the practice with reverence and gratitude. And to all of our teachers, past, present, future, but most importantly, to the teacher within your own heart. Namaste, yogis. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you had a good practice. I hope you're still resting in your Shavasana. Take care.